Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. $158 million former number 2 pick floated as Heat trade target. Time is ticking on the Miami Heat. If they decide it might be time to start a new era, Bleacher Report's Andy Bailey explained why New Orleans Pelicans star Brandon Ingram should be a target. After explaining that the Heat might trade Jimmy Butler, knowing his age, Bailey explained why Ingram could fit there as somewhat of a replacement. Adding Ingram could give those two a bit more runway. With his mid-range attack, decent playmaking, and theoretical ability to switch between multiple defensive assignments, Ingram could be sort of a C+ or B version of Butler, Bailey wrote in a September 5 story. He then explained how Ingram could fit in with the other Heat players. If Riley and the rest of the front office can talk Ingram into signing a more reasonable new contract, he could age into a secondary playmaker role alongside Adebayo, Jaquez, Harrell, or whoever else might pop from the younger core. The Los Angeles Lakers selected Ingram with the number 2 pick in the 2016 NBA Draft. He will enter the final year of a 5-year, $158 million contract. Bailey explained why a trade between the Heat and Pelicans wouldn't work. The biggest roadblock here has little to do with how Ingram would fit into Miami's existing framework, though. New Orleans doesn't really need to replace Ingram with a guard. The Pelicans have those. What they don't have is a center, and the Heat obviously aren't trading Adebayo for him. He added what Miami would have to cobble together to pull off an Ingram trade. Miami's best salary-filling contracts belong to Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson and Harrell, and it'd have to combine multiple deals to get to Ingram's incoming salary. Finding a workable trade, at least right now, is tricky. That would be an issue. However, if Miami has decided that their days with Butler are over, there is a scenario where they could trade Butler in a deal where they get Ingram. It wouldn't have to be between only Miami and New Orleans. They could work out a blockbuster trade that could send them Ingram. Ingram's name has been involved in trade rumors throughout the offseason. However, he still remains in New Orleans. There might be some unrest, though. The Athletics' Will Guillory reported that Ingram missed a minicamp involving most of the Pelicans roster. Ingram did not attend a week-long voluntary minicamp held by Pelicans players in California, which featured every player on the roster except Ingram and recent signee Daniel Tice, Guillory wrote in a September 5 story. The Pelicans believed Ingram would be there, but he never showed, according to team sources. The details get worse, as Ingram has typically organized these events but did not attend this one. This is an event Ingram has organized for his teammates several times in the past, so his absence stood out. The Pelicans hoped this minicamp would be the first time Williamson, Ingram, C.J. McCollum, and newly acquired point guard DeJounte Murray could all get on the court. This could signal Ingram's days with the Pelicans are almost over. However, that won't be confirmed until they trade him, and there's no telling if Miami will be his next time. Overlooked Heat player could be the key to unlocking the starting lineup. Haywood Highsmith is one of the top perimeter defenders in the NBA, according to an advanced metric tracked by B-Ball Index. Highsmith ranked 10th among the league's top point-of-attack defenders, according to B-Ball Index, which defines a point-of-attack defender as a player who guards the opponent's top ball handler and is often found defending in isolation, fighting through ball screens. The Miami Heat forward was among elite company like Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Jaden McDaniels, Drew Holiday and Jalen Suggs. At 6'5" with a 6'11" wingspan, Highsmith has the length to corral ball handlers and the timing to poke the ball away for steals. Last season, Highsmith averaged 1.4 steals per 36 minutes, equal to Jimmy Butler. Beyond the physical tools, Highsmith slides his feet well and has a knack for getting well-timed deflections. The Heat re-signed Highsmith to a two-way, $11 million this summer. After Caleb Martin left for the Philadelphia 76ers as a free agent, Highsmith should see more playing time and a bigger role. Though Highsmith was used mostly as a forward during his Heat tenure, these perimeter defense stats suggest he might be better off playing more as a guard. There's an argument that he should start. Look again at the names on that list. Most of them are starting guards. If Highsmith could have the defensive impact of someone like Caruso, Dort or Holiday, the Heat could go from merely good to elite on defense next season. With Highsmith starting, the Heat could hide a scoring guard like Tyler Herro or Terry Rozier on the least threatening offensive opponent while Highsmith picks up the primary ball handler. I'm sure Jimmy Butler would appreciate not having to do it so he can stay fresh. In a small sample size, lineups with Highsmith, Butler, Adebayo, Nikola Jovic and either Herro or Rozier held opponents to 64.3 points per 100 possessions last season, per Cleaning the Glass. The key to making a starting lineup with Highsmith viable is his three-point shot. The Heat need spacing around Butler and Bam Adebayo. If Highsmith can maintain something close to his 40% clip from deep last season, he could emerge as a dependable two-way player and outperform his contract. Kyle Kuzma's quote sparks trade rumors. NBA teams are always trying to improve their rosters. Teams with a star or two are looking to add another. Teams eliminated in the first round are trying to add a piece to make it the second round and beyond, and real contenders are looking for that final addition to take them to the mountaintop. The Miami Heat fall somewhere within that range and really could use a viable, versatile scoring option to go along with Jimmy Butler, Tyler Herro, and Bam Adebayo. Recently, Kyle Kuzma spoke to All-Star magazine about Pat Riley, leading some to believe that he could be targeted as that option. I've never had a chance to interact with Pat, but I've always admired him, Kuzma said of the Heat president. I just admired his no-nonsense approach when it came to basketball and being professional, because that's me. When I'm off the court, I'm very fun, I have all these different passions. But when I step in between the lines of basketball, I'm very, very serious, because I love it and it's important to me. So, I just love what he stands for, and when you look at his just tutelage of the sport resume from the Showtime years up until just building what the Heat culture is, it's pretty phenomenal. Kuzma isn't wrong, and pretty much every player in the league could and would say the same thing, but they didn't. Kuzma did. When you look at where the Wizards are in terms of their rebuild and where the Heat are in terms of trying to make a deep playoff run, a Kuzma trade makes sense. There's no real smoke just yet, but just about everyone on the Wizards roster is on the table when it comes to changing up the roster in order to build for the future. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Kyle Kuzma? Leave your opinion in the comments.